Hello everyone, welcome back to Speak English with Anurag. I'm Anurag, your host for today. If you're new here, I'd love to tell you that we upload English learning videos regularly to help you reach your fluency goals faster. In today's masterclass, you will not only improve your listening skills, but also expand your vocabulary, refine your sentence structures, and practice the kind of advanced English that takes you closer to the C1 level. Today's lesson is all about building the kind of vocabulary that makes you sound natural, confident, and fluent in daily life. We'll explore expressions, phrases, and sentence patterns that advanced speakers use without even thinking about them. Whether you're having casual conversations, writing formal messages, or explaining complex ideas, advanced vocabulary is the key that unlocks fluency and confidence. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand how to use advanced vocabulary in different contexts, but you'll also practice it with me step by step so it stays in your mind and becomes part of your own speech. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the bell icon so you never miss a chance to improve your English with me. So relax, get comfortable, and if you'd like, grab a pen and paper to note down the words and phrases we practice together. Let's begin our journey to C1 fluency. Now, when we talk about reaching the C1 level, it's not just about memorizing difficult words from a dictionary. It's about knowing how to use words naturally in context and with confidence. For example, think about the difference between saying I'm very tired and saying I'm completely exhausted. Both mean the same, but the second one feels stronger, more advanced, and more natural at higher levels of English. As you listen, I want you to shadow me, which means you repeat after me slowly and clearly. This method will help you internalize the rhythm, pronunciation, and usage of advanced phrases. So let's try it together. I am very tired. Now repeat after me. I am completely exhausted. Good. You see the difference at C1 level. Small changes like this make your English sound richer and more precise. Another example. Instead of saying the movie was very good, you could say the movie was absolutely brilliant. Instead of saying she is very smart, you could say she is remarkably intelligent. Notice how these stronger adjectives lift your English to a higher standard. It's not about showing off. It's about expressing yourself with more variety and precision. Now let's practice with a short exercise. Imagine you are talking about a trip you recently took. A basic sentence would be, the place was very beautiful, but at C1 you might say, the place was breathtakingly beautiful. Repeat after me slowly. The place was breathtakingly beautiful. Excellent. Can you feel how the sentence now paints a stronger image in the listener's mind? At this level, fluency also means being able to explain your thoughts in multiple ways. For example, instead of only saying I don't know, you could say I'm not entirely sure, or I can't say with certainty. These alternatives not only make you sound advanced, but also polite and professional in different situations. Let's do another practice round together. Repeat after me. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I can't say with certainty. Now think of a daily situation. Maybe someone at work or school asks you a difficult question. Instead of staying silent, these phrases will give you the confidence to respond naturally. We also need to talk about connectors, because at C1, connecting your ideas smoothly is what shows true fluency. Words like moreover, nevertheless, consequently, and on the other hand, allow your sentences to flow like a native speaker's. For example, I was tired. Nevertheless, I finished the project on time. Or, she studied hard. Consequently, she passed with excellent marks. Now repeat after me slowly. I was tired. Nevertheless, I finished the project on time. She studied hard. Consequently, she passed with excellent marks. These are the kinds of sentences that will help you in both speaking and writing when you aim for advanced fluency. As we continue, I want you to imagine real-life conversations where these words could appear. Think about being in a job interview, a university discussion, or even chatting with friends. Using advanced vocabulary naturally in these moments is what will build your confidence and move you from intermediate to advanced. For practice, try speaking about your weekend using one advanced connector. For example, I wanted to stay at home. On the other hand, my friends convinced me to go out. Repeat this sentence after me. Good. Now create your own version in your mind and say it out loud. This is how you practice advanced English daily, by taking simple situations and raising the language level with richer vocabulary and smoother connectors. Remember, learning advanced English is not about rushing. It's about practicing slowly, repeating often, and allowing new words and structures to become part of your natural speech. That's why in this masterclass, We'll go step by step, building vocabulary, practicing pronunciation, and using examples from daily life that you can immediately apply in your conversations. One of the things that really separates C1 level speakers from lower levels is their ability to choose the right word for the right situation. It's not just about vocabulary size, it's about precision. For instance, instead of saying he said something, an advanced learner might say he remarked, he commented, or he pointed out. Each of these choices changes the nuance and subtlety. Instead of just saying I like it, you might say I find it fascinating, I really appreciate it, or I'm genuinely impressed. Instead of I don't like it, you could say it doesn't really appeal to me, or I'm not particularly fond of it. These softer, more nuanced expressions are a mark of advanced communication. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I find it fascinating. I really appreciate it. It doesn't really appeal to me. I'm not particularly fond of it. Excellent. These phrases will help you sound more natural, more polite, and more advanced in your daily conversations. Remember, practice is everything. To really internalize this vocabulary, you need to use it. So here's a challenge for you today. When you talk to someone, try replacing one simple word or phrase with a more advanced alternative from this lesson. Maybe instead of saying very good, you say outstanding. Instead of saying I don't know, you say I can't say with certainty. Each time you do this, you're building your C1 English brick by brick. Another important aspect of advanced English is how you manage emphasis. At the C1 level, you don't always need to rely on very or really to strengthen your ideas. Instead, you can use more precise and powerful words. For example, instead of saying very hungry, you could say starving. Instead of really cold, you might say freezing. Instead of very big, you could say enormous or gigantic. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I'm starving. It's freezing outside. The house was enormous. Perfect. Now think of one simple sentence you often use like I'm very happy. At a C1 level, you could say I'm delighted, I'm overjoyed, or I'm thrilled. These alternatives not only sound more natural, but also express different shades of feeling. Here's a small exercise for you. Imagine you're describing your weekend to a friend. Instead of saying the concert was very good, try the concert was phenomenal. Instead of saying the restaurant was very bad, try the restaurant was dreadful. By practicing like this, you'll train your brain to automatically reach for stronger vocabulary instead of simple words. Another step toward advanced fluency is mastering collocations, words that naturally go together. For example, we say make a decision, not do a decision. We say strong coffee, not powerful coffee. And we say heavy rain, not big rain. These word partnerships are what make your English sound natural and fluent. Let's practice some collocations together. Repeat after me. Make progress. Catch a bus. Break the news. Keep a promise. Pay attention. Run a business. Excellent. Notice how natural they feel. At C1 level, learning collocations is often more important than memorizing individual words because collocations show you how vocabulary actually works in daily speech. Let's build a quick practice story using collocations. Listen and then repeat after me slowly. Yesterday, I made a decision to run a small business online. In the morning, I caught a bus into town to buy supplies. On the way, my friend called me to break the news that she was moving abroad. I promised to keep in touch, and I paid attention to her every word. By the end of the day, I felt that I had made real progress. Excellent. That's a natural story filled with collocations you can use in your own conversations. At the C1 level, you also need to master hedging language. This means softening your statements to sound more polite, professional, or cautious. Instead of saying this is wrong, you might say I'm not sure that's entirely correct. Instead of you are late, you could say it seems you've arrived a bit later than expected. This type of language is very common in academic, business, and even friendly discussions because it sounds respectful and balanced. Let's practice some hedging phrases together. Repeat after me. I'm not entirely sure. It seems that. It appears to be. From my perspective, as far as I can tell, these phrases will help you express opinions without sounding too direct or too blunt. This is highly useful in professional or international settings where politeness can make a huge difference. Another tool for advanced speakers is mastering modal verbs for speculation and deduction. For example, he must be tired means you are sure. He might be tired means it's possible. He can't be tired means you think it's impossible. These little changes make your English far more flexible and nuanced. Let's practice this in daily life contexts. Repeat after me. She must be at work. The lights are on. He might be busy. He hasn't answered his phone. That can't be true. I saw it with my own eyes. Perfect. By practicing modals this way, you train yourself to express levels of certainty, possibility, and impossibility, a key skill for C1 English. Now let's expand into discourse markers. These are phrases we use to organize our ideas and sound natural in conversation. For example, frankly speaking, between you and me, if I'm honest, to be fair, in my opinion. These phrases make your English sound smooth and connected, just like native level conversation. Let's try some together. Repeat after me. Frankly speaking, I don't think that's the best idea. Between you and me, I was a little nervous before the meeting. To be fair, the movie wasn't as bad as people said. Excellent. These little touches add personality and flow to your speech, and they are a strong signal of advanced fluency. Finally, in this section, let's bring everything together with a longer practice exercise. Imagine you're talking about a challenge you faced recently, and you want to sound advanced and confident. Repeat after me slowly. Frankly speaking, last week was exhausting. I was absolutely overwhelmed with work. Nevertheless, I managed to make progress and complete my tasks on time. It seems that my colleagues appreciated my efforts, and I couldn't agree more that teamwork made the difference. On the whole, it was a challenging week, but I feel delighted with what we achieved. Wonderful. Notice how this short story combines strong vocabulary, connectors, collocations, and hedging language. That's exactly how you reach C1 fluency. At the C1 level, one of the most valuable skills you can develop is the ability to rephrase. Rephrasing means saying the same idea in different ways depending on context. This is powerful because it shows flexibility in communication. For example, if someone asks you, "Do you understand?" At a basic level, you might simply say, "Yes, I understand." But at C1, you could say, "Yes, I follow your point," or "Yes, I get what you mean," or "Yes, that makes sense to me." Each option expresses agreement, but each has a slightly different tone, formal, casual, or neutral. This skill makes your English sound alive and adaptable. Let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. I follow your point. I get what you mean. That makes sense to me. Good. Now imagine a friend is explaining a new app to you. Instead of just saying "I understand," try one of these alternatives. This flexibility is what makes you sound like an advanced speaker. Another dimension of C1 fluency is sophistication in expressing opinions. At lower levels, learners often say "I think" again and again. But at C1, you can expand this with phrases such as "in my view, from my perspective, as far as I'm concerned, if you ask me, and the way I see it." These alternatives not only make your English richer, they also help you avoid repetition, which is a mark of advanced communication. Let's do this together. Repeat after me. In my view, this approach is more effective. From my perspective, we should try something different. As far as I'm concerned, learning English daily is the best strategy. If you ask me, the book was better than the movie. The way I see it, practice leads to progress. Excellent. You now have 5 new ways to express your opinion, without always falling back on "I think." We also need to focus on advanced time expressions, because these often challenge learners. Instead of only saying "yesterday" or "last week," you can use phrases such as "the other day," "in the meantime," "at the end of the day," or "in the long run." These expressions are extremely common among native speakers and give your speech a more authentic rhythm. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I met her the other day. In the meantime, I'll keep working on this project. At the end of the day, we all want to be happy. In the long run, practice always pays off. Perfect. Try to use one of these expressions the next time you tell a story about your daily life. At the C1 level, your fluency also depends on mastering the subtle difference between formal and informal registers. In casual conversation, you might say, "Can you help me out?" In a professional meeting, you might instead say, "Would you be able to assist me with this?" Both mean the same, but the second is more formal and polite. Being able to shift between these registers shows advanced control of English. Let's practice this skill together. Repeat after me. Can you help me out? Now repeat. Would you be able to assist me with this? Great. Now imagine 2 scenarios, one with a close friend and one with your boss. Which phrase would you use in each case? This awareness of context is what makes your English sound sophisticated and appropriate. Another crucial area at C1 is building range with phrasal verbs and their formal equivalents. For example, instead of "put off," you might use "postpone." Instead of come up with, you might use devise. Instead of give up, you could use surrender. Instead of find out, you might say discover. Phrasal verbs are common in spoken English, while their single word equivalents are often used in academic or professional settings. A C1 learner can move comfortably between both. Let's try it now. Repeat after me. We had to put off the meeting. We had to postpone the meeting. She came up with a new idea. She devised a new idea. He gave up the fight. He surrendered the fight. Did you find out the answer? Did you discover the answer? Wonderful. Notice how each version feels slightly different depending on context, but both are correct. That's the flexibility you want. At this stage, it's also important to use vocabulary that sounds polished. Practice with me. Repeat after me. Due to the heavy rain, the match was cancelled. Owing to his dedication, he succeeded in his exams. As a result of the delay, the meeting was postponed. Thanks to her support, I felt more confident. Now with alternatives, the team worked hard, therefore they achieved success. The evidence was clear, thus the case was closed. She didn't study, consequently she failed. He was the eldest, hence he took responsibility. Very good. These connectors will be especially useful in academic essays, debates, and formal writing. Finally, let's put everything we've practiced into a longer advanced practice paragraph you can shadow. Repeat after me slowly. In the long run, learning English every day will bring you closer to fluency. Owing to consistent practice, your confidence will steadily grow. Moreover, as a result of applying advanced vocabulary, you will begin to sound more natural and precise. At the end of the day, language is about connection. And needless to say, the more variety you have, the more deeply you can connect with people. Therefore, never stop challenging yourself, because every word you learn builds another step toward mastery. Excellent. That's advanced fluency in action. At the advanced level, you also need to practice how to emphasize contrast in your speech. Native speakers do this naturally, and it makes conversations sound dynamic and engaging. Instead of simply saying but, you can use however, nevertheless, nonetheless, even so, or having said that. Each of these gives your English more depth and sophistication. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I was tired. However, I kept working until midnight. It was raining. Nevertheless, we went for a walk. She was nervous. Nonetheless, she delivered a great presentation. The plan was risky. Even so, they decided to try it. I usually prefer tea. Having said that, I don't mind a cup of coffee sometimes. Excellent. These words are not only for writing but also for speaking, and using them shows that you can handle subtlety in communication. Another area where C1 learners stand out is in expressing probability and possibility with nuance. Instead of always saying maybe, you could say it's likely, it's probable, there's a good chance, it's doubtful, or it's highly unlikely. These expressions let you show degrees of certainty, which is important for academic, professional, and everyday conversation. Practice with me. Repeat after me. It's likely that he'll arrive late. There's a good chance she'll win the competition. It's doubtful that they'll finish on time. It's highly unlikely that the price will decrease. Perfect. Another key part of C1 fluency is using synonyms for common words like important. Instead of saying important all the time, try using crucial, essential, vital, significant, or fundamental. These words carry more weight and show that you have a deeper understanding of the language. Let's practice them together. Repeat after me. It is crucial to arrive on time. Exercise is essential for good health. Water is vital for survival. Education plays a significant role in society. Honesty is a fundamental value. Excellent. With these synonyms, you now have 5 new ways to avoid repetition and sound advanced. At C1, your ability to describe subtle feelings and emotions also becomes important. Instead of saying, I'm happy, you can say, I'm content, I'm pleased, I'm cheerful, I'm delighted, or I'm thrilled. Instead of, I'm sad, you might say, I'm upset, I'm downhearted, I'm sorrowful, or I'm devastated. These words give your speech emotional color.